Hello, in this video I will talk to you about just one thing: the large family childcare home. I will read it to you. We used to have a childcare. I think we eventually did get the large family childcare home. The large family childcare home means an occupied residence in which childcare is regularly provided for children from at least two unrelated families, which receives a payment, fee, or grant for any of the children receiving care, whether or not operated for profit, and which has at least two full-time childcare personnel on the premises during the hours of operation. One of the two full-time childcare personnel must be the owner or occupant of the residence. A large family childcare home must have first operated as a licensed family daycare home for 2 years with an operator who has had a child development associate credential or its equivalent for 1 year before seeking licensure as a large family childcare home. A large family childcare home shall be allowed to provide care for one of the following groups of children, which shall include those children under 13 years of age who are related to the caregiver. A maximum of 8 children from birth to 24 months of age. All right, so that would be 4 for each one of us, and the oldest would be 2 years old. All right, or B, a maximum of 12 children with no more than 4 children under 24 months of age. So we could have 12 children if 4 of them, no more than 4 of them, were less than 2 years old. So we did get into that situation when we had older brothers that were 9, 10 years old, and they had the little sister and little brother that were 3, 2 years old. The older brothers were bored because there's nothing to do except sit on the couch. Do I recommend a family childcare home? As a business, no way, because you got to pay for the insurance. Your customers, they come and go. You have one for a month, then they get a speeding ticket, or they get fired, or they find a new boyfriend with a mom or something, or a mother-in-law, or their grandma comes to town. So it's not a good business. It's not steady like other types of businesses. Now, you're doing it because you like children and you need the money. So instead of getting licensed, I would just go for registered. And registered means that the county in Florida does not pay you any money for taking care of the children. If you're licensed, the county, if it costs $100 a week, the county will give you $80 per child, and the parent will only have to pay $20. But even then, there were some parents that, well, they had 2 kids, so they wanted a discount. And we gave it to them because, if we don't have those 2 kids, then we don't have any customers at all. So that's the way it works. But registered is better as far as for the owner, because the parent comes, they pay you $100 a week to take care of the child, and nobody comes to see if The kids wash their hands before eating lunch. No one comes to see and sit there for 4 hours or a couple of hours at least to see if you're reading a book to the kids. They come and check on you, but it's not like if you're licensed, you gotta have, well, you might have to have a curriculum on the wall, but when you're dealing with little kids, I asked the question in class, well, what do you do when it's time to read the book? And so you got the book here and you're looking at it, and 3 or 4 of them, they already, not one of them is sitting down to look at the book. They're not school age. I remember 2 sisters arguing for the Gospel of John. It was a little book that it fit in their hands, and it was blue. It had no pictures in it. It was for an adult, my opinion. But they brought it, and then I said, no, let's look at this one. And then they started arguing and pulling back and forth for it. So finally I said, all right, I'll read it to you. And that lasted a few seconds. I mean, because it's not meant for them. So the older one hung on to it. It's her book, she said. Okay. But it was just difficult. If you're licensed, you're supposed to have a curriculum and you're supposed to do certain things at certain hours, but it doesn't work that way. Like lunchtime, you're supposed to sit down and watch them eat. So I would sit down. I had no problem with that. I was ready to eat. But the spouse, she was busy. She had to cook and watch kids. If it's a one-person operation, it's not doable. It's not possible. Even serving the kids, they're all supposed to gather around the table, and you're supposed to serve this one and then serve the other one, and it's supposed to be 1, 2, 3, 4, but if the adult is not sitting down, I mean, I was sitting down and I said, all right, take your time and you grab that, pass me this. Registered is better. You take care of your brother's kids or your sister's kids, and you take care of one more family, let's say after school or something. That would be the way to do it. If you're registered, you would be able to say, okay, pay me. If you're just doing it because you're taking care of the neighbor's kids, it's happened. After school kids don't want to hang out with toddlers, all right? Even if they're their brothers and sisters. I remember one boy, he got into, he wanted to throw rocks at my daughter because at the playground they were playing tag, and since then I don't let them play tag on the equipment, because what happened, she tagged him, he fell, and he hurt his bone underneath the knee. So the mother took him to the hospital. It was not broken, but the next day he came here and he wanted to throw rocks at my daughter. And the mom was pregnant, which means that she was, and she didn't have she didn't have a husband. It was, I think it was artificial insemination. I think that's the way it went. And yes, she had her SUV. She had her nice job, apparently. Oh yeah, she didn't qualify for the government to pay for her childcare because she earned too much money. So this boy, I loved him because he watches the stuff I watch. He was watching a whale documentary. He brought the videotape. It was different with this young man. He could talk to you. He was 9 years old or so. And at that time, I think my daughter was younger than him by a couple of years, but I liked him. He was intelligent. And then when he started to throw rocks at my daughter, then I told the mother, I'm sorry, I have to protect the daughter. And then the mother said, well, let me talk to him. And she said, do you want to go back to the big child care where the bigger kids beat you up? So I didn't even know that had been happening, because you see what happens in child development when they don't have a father, most of the time, they don't learn to fight. They don't learn to defend themselves. For the women listening to me, all right? I say fight because that's what it is. But the political correctness, you have to say they have to learn to defend themselves. And so this kid, he was 9 years old, very intelligent, like whale documentaries. I mean, he watched the whole thing. And that was not the first time he had watched it. I liked it too. Now, if it's a licensed child care, he would not be allowed to be watching 2 hours of a documentary or an hour and a half. That's not what you do at a child care, right? But I loved that whale documentary, and I liked him. But that boy, he was missing the masculine aspect. He was missing the fighting aspect, the self-defense, that thing. Now, some bullies pick on bigger kids, and some bullies pick on smaller kids. So, I don't know where he ended up, but by that mom, I told her, you can't come here. I mean, I told her I can't take care of her son. And then the spouse says, we just lost $800 because it was the older child, a 9-year-old, plus the baby coming. So it's a tough situation, because she's not going to bring the baby and then have the older child at another child care. It's going to be tough like that. So what do you do in that situation? And that's when a family kicks in, guys. You can't do everything by yourself. I know that some people, all right, women, they go around having kids by themselves with artificial insemination or a donor of sperm and things like that. But you're not looking out for like the best for the son, in my opinion. If it's a boy, even a girl needs a dad, I think. I think so. But all right, I was just supposed to talk to you about the large family childcare home. It's a nice title. It's not doable though, with the different types of kids. Now, if your house is next door to a school and they're all 5 years old or all 7 years old, then it would be easier. But when you have one that's 9, you have one that's 3 years old, and when the 9-year-olds kick the soccer ball or any ball, the volleyball, he would go over to the neighbor's yard. All right, so that tells you it's not, a house is not the best place to take care of different ages of kids. I could do it now that I'm older, but only if they were my kids. Because without yelling, oh, and then only if the spouse backs me up, because half the time she says the opposite of what I want. Like in our own children, yesterday was a great day. I told her, you want to go to the park? She said no, the spouse. Then I asked the oldest one, you want to go to the park? She said no. I asked the youngest one, you want to go to the park? Only if mother goes. The older one said, only if the mother goes. So once we were all at the park, the mother says, I'm angry. And I said, what does that have to do with me? You know, and then she says, I'm angry at you. And I'm like, well, for what? She says, I'm angry at you for bringing her to the park. And I said, you decided to come. But that was only because she was being a good mom, because the kids do want to come to the park and run and play, but they only want to do that if the mother is there, because she takes water, she takes all of these. She didn't get any yogurt yesterday, but when I go, I was like, we go, you want water? There's the fountain. If you're ready to go back, we go back. You know, we lasted half an hour or whatever, but yeah, so I could take care of, once they're 4 years old, I could take care of about 5 of them if they're my kids, you know, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Because I would tell the older ones, you can play here in the backyard where I can watch you. But if you guys start fighting with each other, then no internet. I mean, that's the first thing I would cut. But in this house, the spouse doesn't let me cut the internet. So it's difficult to put any discipline. Oh, you're trying to control everybody, Daniel. I'm not trying to control everybody. I'm trying to get the family not to fight. You know the Etch-a-Sketch on that bed over there? They were arguing for the Etch-a-Sketch. All right? Oh. And then they say, you don't go anywhere with us, Daniel, when we go to the water parks and swim and stuff. Well, kids, you start arguing in the car while I'm driving. So, like, I can't deal with that. I don't want to deal with that. I mean, if I was in Honduras, I'd grab the belt and hit you both. And then I'm like, all right, you make me pull over again, I'll hit you again. All right, but over here in the United States, it doesn't work that way. Because if I leave one mark on them, then I go to jail for child abuse. So it's a different world. The only thing I can cut is the internet. And the spouse, she was going to rent this room, but she decided that she doesn't want me in the house. So she said, I'll just get over there. I don't want you in the house. All I said was that the garage was very hot and that there was no air conditioning in there, and that where could I put the bed? And she doesn't want my bed in the living room again. So she said, get back to your room. And my mother backed me up. She said, go back to your room. You can't stay in the house with them. All right. Live alone. For if you're a man, live alone. Have some money with you so that you can live alone. Live in a room that's 4 feet across by 7 feet high, depending on how tall you are. Something that fits on the back of a bicycle with wheels, like a homeless person. But it's better you live like that than to live with a woman that yells at you, or to live in a family where the kids are arguing and you're not allowed to put discipline, and the other parent says the opposite of what you say. Enjoy your life. Be better than I am. Thank you.